everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have 4 Dollar Tree DIYs for you. Some fun fall DIYs to put outside or to put in your house on some shelves. And just to keep you guys updated, my website is now fully in stock. I had it out of stock while we were moving. Now that we are settled and we have things up and running, you can go to my website and purchase my craft kits. Everything is now available. Also, keep an eye out for Monday for our Halloween craft kits to come out on Monday. So keep an eye out for that. Without further ado, let's jump into the video. For this first one, I found these 2 wood pieces at the Dollar Tree. I've been able to find a lot of kind of scrap wood type pieces lately, so I picked up quite a few of these, and I'm going to take 2 of them and I'm going to use my Dixie Belle paint in fluff, and I'm going to paint the whole thing, the front, the back, the side, everything. Gave this about 1 good coat. Once those were all dry, I just went in with some gel super glue, and I'm going to super glue them together. Now I'm going to take a large gallon paint stick that you can get from Walmart, and I just measured out about the length of those 2 square plaques together, and I cut this down using my miter shears. Took me a bit of a minute to try to get it to completely cut through. It just wasn't working super great on this. I don't know why. I had to flip it over a couple times, but I eventually got it. You just want to cut down your gallon paint stir stick, and then I'm going to stain it using my Waverly Wax and Antique. Now I'm also going to take some tumbling tower blocks that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm also going to stain those. I only worry about the back and the top because the bottom and the other side are going to be covered. You're not going to see them anyways. And then I'm going to grab a calendar from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use this truck one with the pumpkins that is super popular, and I just absolutely love this. And thank you to my subscribers who sent me calendars. I couldn't have found them without you guys. So a huge shout out to you guys. It seriously means so much, and I seriously have the best subscribers ever. So thank you so much. And then I'm just gonna take those 2 wooden pieces, and I just traced out the truck, and I'm gonna go through, cut that out, and then I'm gonna take a glue stick onto my wood little plaque, and I'm just going to put that truck picture right on top. I used a knife to kind of get the edges that were hanging off on there, and then I'm going to start assembling my little stand. So I'm going to take my tumbling tower block and take one and just hot glue it right down to the middle, and then I'll just work my way out from there, hot gluing those tumbling tower pieces down. And after that, I'm going to take my brush that still had a little bit of antique wax left on it, and I'm going to use that to distress around my truck. I just went around all of the edges to just kind of make it look more aged and weathered. Once that's done, I'm going to place some hot glue on that stand, and I'm going to place my little plaque right onto the back of that stand. And then I decided it was looking a little too plain, so I took some of these hay bales that you can get from the Dollar Tree. I took 2 of those, and I'm going to hot glue them down, and then I took these little foam pumpkins that you can get in a pack from Hobby Lobby, and I just started hot gluing those down to one side. I just messed around with the placement, figured out where I wanted everything, and then hot glued it all down. And that's it for this DIY. I think this looks super, super cute sitting on a shelf. Thank you so much to Hoover for sponsoring today's video. You guys, Hoover sent me their pet carpet cleaner, and as you can tell, my carpets in my old home were absolutely disgusting. And the nice thing is as well that this also works on couches. So you can see here I did this couch that we had, and we were getting ready to take pictures for our home to be sold. So we were going through and deep cleaning everything so everything looked really nice, which was perfect timing for Hoover to send me this because we got our home up on the market and sold. And I really feel like the Hoover did us really, really well with making our carpet look really nice. It just worked perfectly. It got all those stains out, and it was honestly a lifesaver with trying to move. So thank you so much to Hoover. I absolutely love our carpet cleaner, and now in the home that we're renting, if I ever need to get stains out of the carpet, I have a Hoover. Thankfully, there's not too much carpet in this home, but I will always be using this on hand when I need to clean those carpets. And you can see how much dirt and just nastiness that the carpet cleaner got up from our carpets. So thank you again to Hoover for sending me the carpet cleaner and sponsoring today's video. I will have Hoover and the carpet cleaner linked down below. For this next DIY, I'm going to grab 2 of these pumpkin long signs that you can pick up from the Dollar Tree. I just started off by cutting off the twine and the tags that were on the top in those holes, and I'm going to attach these signs together. So I just took some leftover pieces of some gallon paint stir sticks, and I used that to attach my 2 signs together at the top, and then I grabbed another paint stir stick and hot glued that down to the bottom so that my signs were nice and glued together. And then you can always use some brown craft paper to cover up the back. And then I'm going to take these wood cutout words. I actually picked these ones up from Michael's. They were $2.99, but they were on sale. So I think that these were a really great deal. And they had a whole bunch of different ones for Halloween and fall. And I just thought the fonts on these were so cute. So this says Hello Pumpkin. I'm going to go in with some Craftsmart Pumpkin Spice acrylic paint. And I just did 1 coat of this. And then for the word hello, I just took some white Waverly chalk paint and just gave that 1 coat as well. I'm going to set those to the side, and I'm going to grab 2 of these pumpkins from this little piece that you can get on the Dollar Tree with the welcome football. I took 2 of those pumpkins, and then I'm also going to take one of these napkin holders or pen holders. I'm not sure exactly what these are, but I just broke it down and took that front pumpkin off of there. Just be careful not to break it. And then I'm going to take those orange pumpkins that I have, and I'm just going to change the color up a little bit. I took that same pumpkin spice acrylic paint from Craftsmart, and I gave this about 3 good coats. I actually liked because you could still see those lines that were already from the paper or whatever it was from the pumpkin. So I was able to see where to draw the grooves in the pumpkin. So I just took some truffle chalk paint and a really small brush and just kind of went over those lines a little bit. I wasn't too worried about making it perfect or anything. I just went over them slightly. You can see they're not like full solid lines, but I just went over those to make it, more realistic. And then for the other pumpkin, I'm going to take my Dixie Belle paint in Vintage Duck Egg. You guys, this is by far one of my favorite colors for fall. I always have them linked in my description box. I love Dixie Belle. I've used so much of this paint, and you can see I've barely made a dent in it. I feel like I'm using it for all my projects, and it still looks completely full. I just used the truffle chalk paint to paint the stem of the pumpkin, and then I'm just going to lay everything out and start gluing it down to my sign. So I take my 2 orange pumpkins, and I'm going to hot glue those towards the bottom on the sides. And then for my blue pumpkin, I'm going to hot glue that right in the middle on top of my 2 orange pumpkins. And then I'm just going to start hot gluing down my words. So I'll take pumpkin and I'll hot glue that right above the pumpkins. And then I'm going to hot glue down the word hello, and I just tilted it on a little bit of an angle and hot glue that down to my sign as well. Now, I was still feeling like it was looking a little too plain, so what I did was take some buffalo check ribbon. I picked this one up, I believe, from Hobby Lobby, but I know during certain seasons you can get some at the Dollar Tree. And I just cut a strip out enough to hot glue around the back of my sign, and I just hot glued that down. And then I wanted to be able to cover up those holes at the top of my sign. So I took the ribbon and I actually just folded it in half, and I hot glued it in half so that it would stay together. And then I'm just going to do the same thing, hot glue that on the top, covering up those holes and wrapping it around to the back. And then I'm going to take some twine and make a cute little bow for my blue pumpkin. I just wrapped it around my index finger and my thumb a couple of times, and then you're going to take another piece of twine and tie it around the middle of those loops. And that's all you have to do to create a really cute and simple twine bow. And I'm just going to cut the tails off to the length that I want them, and then hot glue that down to the top of my blue pumpkin. And then I'm going to take some of these sunflowers that you can get from the Dollar Tree as well, and I just took 3 of them, cut off the wire pieces on the back, and then I just hot glued it down to the top of my sign on top of my ribbon. And that's it for this DIY. I think this looks super, super cute sitting outside on my front porch. I finally feel like I have a really cute front porch, and I'm really excited to decorate it this year. So here we go. This Dollar Tree outdoor sign, it's actually one of my favorites. For this next DIY, I'm going to take one of these family around signs from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to flip it on its back, and I'm going to give it one good coat of the Dixie Belle chalk paint in fluff. I found these really adorable window clings at the Dollar Tree, and I loved this blue welcome home pumpkin in the middle. I knew I wanted to use it for some sort of DIY, so I'm going to take it and I'm going to use some Mod Podge on the back and just cover the entire thing, and then I'll just flip it over and stick it down to my sign. Once I have it where I want it, I'm going to Mod Podge on top of it and all around it and make sure that it's really good and stuck on there. Next, I'm going to make a wreath for it to hang on. So I'm going to take a wreath from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to take these leaves from the Dollar Tree in a couple different styles. You have these ones that are just plain leaves, and then you have these ones with the same leaves but have a white pumpkin and some white berries. And then I'm also going to take some cotton stems that you can get from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use these to assemble a little wreath. I cut each stem off of the pick, and I just did that to assemble my wreath. I just find that a lot easier. And because I'm using one of these types of wreath, I don't know exactly what these ones are. I want to say grapevine, but I don't think that that's the correct word. I don't think that's what these ones are called. But I like these because you can just stick the stems right in instead of having to hot glue everything. The one thing I did have to do though was hot glue the cotton down because those obviously weren't going to just stick right into the wreath. So I just put a little bit of hot glue on the bottom and then pushed the leaves away and hot glued it right down to the wreath itself. So I just went around the entire thing and did that. And then I'm going to take some nautical rope that I got from the Dollar Tree to make to be able to hang my little welcome pumpkin. So I just went around it, tied a knot down in the middle, and then I'm going to hot glue the knot to the back of my sign. And once I kind of have it stuck down there, I'll flip it around and add more hot glue to, you know, make it all nice and extra secure so that that sign isn't going anywhere. And that's it. I think this is super cute. I would have hung this on my door, but in the move, I lost my door hanger for my wreaths, so I'm gonna have to run to the Dollar Tree and buy a new one. But this is how it turned out, and I love how full it is, and the pumpkin in the middle, it's just one of my favorites. I absolutely love this one. For this next DIY, I grabbed one of these craft pumpkins that you can get from the Dollar Tree, and I started out by just painting it with one good coat of the Dixie Belle chalk paint in fluff. Before that's completely dry, I'm going to give it some more grooves for the pumpkin. I just used some elephant chalk paint from Waverly, and I just, you know, went where the grooves in a pumpkin would naturally be, did a lot of blending before the paint was totally dry, and just kind of went back and forth with the white and the gray and the white and the gray until I got it the way that I liked it. And then I'm also going to paint the stem of the pumpkin with some Waverly chalk paint in truffle. And then I'm going to take these two pumpkins here. This one I'm painting with the orange, with the pumpkin spice from Craft Smart. This one came from the Dollar Tree. The smaller pumpkin actually came in a pack from the Target Dollar Spot last year. So I just needed a smaller pumpkin to go on top of that. I'm going to paint them the exact same way that I painted the previous pumpkin. Just adding the grooves in the pumpkin and blending and going back and forth between the colors until I feel like, you know, it's the way that I want it to look. So it's your preference on how you want to paint your pumpkins. I just painted the stem with my Waverly chalk paint and truffle, and then did the exact same technique to the smaller pumpkin. I did end up going in with some of my Dixie Belle paint and duck egg for this one, and just went back and forth with blending in the grooves. And then again, I found these really cute window clings from the Dollar Tree, and I found this one at the bottom that said pumpkins 10 cents. I thought this would be perfect for this one, and I wanted to cut off the edges that had a little gray border around it, and I wanted it to blend in more with the pumpkin rather than just looking like a sign glued on, if that makes sense. So I went through and cut that off. I also grabbed a metal leaf from a different pumpkin from the Dollar Tree, and then I just started assembling everything. I glued that leaf down, I glued my pumpkins down, and then I'm going to Mod Podge the pumpkin window cling to the center of my pumpkin. And then I just tied a little jute string bow for my pumpkin at the bottom, my orange one. And then I was feeling like it was looking a little too plain at the top, so I also did the exact same bow at the top, just right above that leaf. And that's it for this DIY. I think this one turned out super cute. And that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you to Hoover for sponsoring today's video. Again, make sure to check out their link in my description box. I cannot wait to get back full into the swing of things, of all things YouTube and videos and crafting. If you guys want to see a little office and crafting tour of my little crafting area, let me know in the comments down below. I think it would be so much fun to show you guys how I have everything currently set up in my crafting basement. That is a dream. I don't know how I'm going to move into a different house that doesn't have this. So I'm going to enjoy it while I can. But thank you guys so much for being patient with me while I am in the transition of moving and getting everything all settled into our new home in Utah. Again, keep an eye out for Monday. My Halloween craft kits will go live Monday the 20th. I cannot wait for you guys to see them and craft them, so keep an eye out for that. Again, don't forget to subscribe before you guys leave. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!